and welcome to the Nerd Ninja Show. We will walk you through all the news, notes, and events happening in the nerd world. Laura, Clever Fangirl, will be moving to our new show starting Thursday, the 17th, the Nerd Ninja Girls Show. Very excited about that.
No boys allowed, I guess.
No, boys are welcome, just not on the camera.
We don't get the cool clubhouse.
But still here with me today are the usual suspects, Freddy, the master of disaster, in the comic world that is, and his sidekick, the toy wonder, Matt Partain.
I'm the sidekick?
Always. Look at you.
Okay, that's fair. I love Freddie. I'll be your sidekick, Freddie.
Thanks, man.
All right. So, how are we doing today, guys?
We're good.
We're good?
Yeah. Sidekicks are doing good. How about normal heroes? Doing good?
Yeah. Okay. So, we ready to do a show? Maybe bust a ghost or two?
Let's bust all the ghosts.
Okay.
Let me tell you what, guys. Busting makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Oh, let me turn off my phone. I'm so sorry. Pardon me, guys.
Man. Sorry, I was texting you.
About busting.
I
Making
was
them feel
busting
good.
all the ghosts.
Well, if you are, love busting, you are in for a treat, sir.
Love to bust.
Late last week, the trailer for the new Ghostbusters dropped, and the internet, while it didn't break, it sure did get a little crack in it. It seems like the nerd community is split right down the middle on this one. So, Ghostbusters has been rebooted, remade, continued, whatever the terms are these days, whatever the term is. But this time, we are treated with an all-female cast led by Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig, Kate Middleton, and Leslie Jones rounding out the foursome.
It might be Kate McKinnon, not Kate Middleton. Kate Middleton is
I'm sorry. I
love Kate McKinnon.
I'm sorry.
But I like your idea better.
That would be actually really. We could definitely bust.
I like your idea better, Chris.
Bustin'. Not to mention a certain fan favorite, slimy co-star. The Columbia Pictures has rounded up the hottest comedians in the business in hopes to cash in on the reboot frenzy. So now that we have seen the trailer, what are your first impressions of the movie, Matt?
Well, my first impression of seeing this movie when I saw the first pictures and stuff, particularly with Kate McKinnon, it seemed like they were doing female versions of the male characters. Kate McKinnon was going to be Egon. Leslie Jones?
Yeah.
Leslie Jones was going to be Winston. I felt like... crap, I can't remember the girl's name.
Kristen Wiig
would
Melissa McCarthy
would be the Peter Venkman, and Melissa McCarthy would be the Ray Stantz. So I don't really get the whole making them girl versions of the male characters we're familiar with. I thought like it would be better off to have them just be their own characters. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm not super psyched about that at all.
All right, Freddie, what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I hate remakes in general, especially coming from horror, where a remake is like every 5 seconds and everything's being redone. I was a lot more relieved after seeing the trailer because it looks like they're trying to do their own thing as opposed to... I do get where Matt's coming from with them being
so you think they're going to do their own thing? So they're not going to be like in a library and a ghost isn't going to like...
No, you got that. But like
okay.
the difference is like you got 2 different decades of comedy. And so you get the old school SNL versus the new school SNL. Old school SNL is going to be like very subtle, and then the old Ghostbusters kind of based more on like fact and reality, and the comedy comes from that. Whereas like this decade and this generation is very much awkward comedy, and it's very relevant in this one. Like, I mean, geez, when they're like about to be like, all right, let's go. Oh, wait, no, it should, you say it. No, I'll say it. And it's like, okay, we get it, dude. Like, this is the awkward comedy. They're all awkward. That one didn't play for me as much, but it's definitely becoming its own thing with some nuances from the older stuff. I'm curious. I'm a little more happier with it now than I was when I first heard about everything going on with it, because Ghostbusters is one of my favorite movies of all time, so it's a little hard.
A little low blow. All right, Matt, you got any other thoughts about Ghostbusters?
I feel like it looks a little silly. I was saying there were the versions that we were familiar with from the movies, but to me, they're really more the versions that we saw in the cartoon from the 80s.
The real Ghostbusters.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Like, if you watch the cartoon, Ray is kind of, with all respect to Melissa McCarthy, she's lost a lot of weight, but Ray is kind of fat. Also, Ray gets
He's
possessed.
pretty tubby, yeah.
Yeah. It's weird because Dan Aykroyd wasn't that fat. But Ray gets possessed all the time, and then when you watch the trailer, you see Melissa McCarthy get possessed. Especially with Egon, with the twirly blonde hair and the goggles.
That's Kate McKinnon. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah,
with that hair.
Yeah,
that's why I love her.
She's definitely based on the Egon from the cartoon, not from the movie, because Egon's not even blonde in the movie. But yeah, what we saw in that cartoon, which I think they're kind of looking at and going, let's go more based on the cartoon. And I think that today we just heard they just hired a new director to make a
animated feature
for Ghostbusters. So they're definitely looking at that cartoon, and I think they were doing that more in Ghostbusters 2 as well, because if you look at that one compared to the first one, it's much sillier.
Slimer really became more from the cartoon.
Yeah.
Does it bother you that it's an all-female cast? Like, I mean,
not at all. No,
okay. Okay.
So
Almost Nerdy Ashley looks like he liked the fan remix trailer much better. So, I mean, have you guys seen that fan remix trailer?
I think we have the fan remix trailer in our notes coming up later in the show. So
all right, so we'll talk about that. All right, Freddie?
Okay, so personally, with remakes, not a big fan of CGI. I think Ghostbusters is one of those movies that's kind of like gets its roots in horror, but also the comedy. But it's also one of those movies where it's like an action horror, which not many of those come out and become successful. So like you see here in these photos here, that whole ghost town, which supposedly it's like, 80s, 50s, something like that. They're really like CGI, like overtly, whereas opposed to the old movies, you had like the guys who worked on Star Wars, you got the guys who worked on a bunch of other horror movies making these ghosts, and each one was different and had like its own soul nuances and stuff like that look really cool. I'm big on design stuff, so
I feel you completely.
The thing that killed me though, and there's the only thing in the trailer where I was like, I'm really sad, was when CGI Slimer came out.
Yeah.
Because also too, I'm a huge John Belushi fan, and after John Belushi passed away, that Slimer design was based on John Belushi from Animal House.
I did not realize that.
So Slimer is the ghost of John Belushi.
Yeah.
And originally Winston was supposed to be Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
So that's why when Eddie Murphy decided to do Beverly Hills Cop, they cut that roll down.
Yeah. And John Candy was supposed to play Rick
he
character.
he filmed a lot of that role. But he kept doing this weird accent. And they were like, hey, you can't be some weird German dude. And he quit. He was like so...
Which he was weird because he came back for the Ray J. Parker video.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of people on that video.
I
Chevy
will
Chase
say,
is in that video, right?
Yeah, like pretty much all of SNL is in there. But with Kate McKinnon, from that trailer, she's so eccentric and crazy. I love her. She might be my new Hollywood crush right now, which I don't have very many. Yeah, she's like licking the gun, like she's going to kick some ass.
All right, so Lost Bobby says, I thought it was pretty good, although I'm not a fan of Leslie Jones. I feel like she is playing the same character she always plays on every SNL skit, just an angry woman.
Well, and that's one of the things, too, was like Ernie Hudson's always talked about how like the problem, and a lot of people have looked at it where it's like, he's kind of like, the black character kind of shoehorned in there. All of them are scientists, and he's like your streetwise guy. Mm-hmm. And everyone's talking about how how progressive this movie is. It's all female cast. But no one's looking at, Leslie Jones is just that black character, streetwise person. And they're not really... I'm worried they're going to do the same thing that they did to Ernie Hudson. Because as much as I love Ghostbusters, it's kind of crappy how they kind of... Ernie Hudson was never given much. It was like always about... the main 3 stars, and then Ernie Hudson was later. Like, even if you look on the IMDb page, Leslie Jones is credited, like, way below other people, too, on there. And I was always worried about that.
In regards to the first one, let's just be clear about, star power level.
Well, I mean, I get that, but, like, if
it might not have been a race thing.
It was, yeah, but, like, even over the years, like, with Ghostbusters 2, like, it just wasn't. He didn't get his due.
I think he had a bigger role in Ghostbusters.
He had a bigger role, but like,
and he had more hair. He grew his hair out.
He did grow his hair out.
Winston was a big character in the cartoon.
We've got Cyborg Gene. I heard Bill Murray is doing a cameo for it. So have y'all? I've heard this too, actually.
They all do a cameo.
Yes. I've heard the rumors that are spinning at the Lost Toys. People are saying that Bill Murray is someone that debunks the ghost phenomenon. So maybe he's like a debunker, like ghosts aren't real and that kind of thing.
Did you hear about the rumor of Dan Aykroyd's cameo?
So what I heard was Dan Aykroyd might be voicing the main villain.
I heard something different. This is an earlier one, and this is actually why I was worried until I saw the trailer. Was they said that the role Dan Aykroyd is playing, he plays a cab driver who picks up two of the Ghostbusters, and
I think I saw
Yeah.
leaked footage of that.
I thought
Maybe.
that was Winston. That was
no, Winston's the mayor supposedly, but
Oh, see, I
basically
heard
Dan Aykroyd picks him up, and they're about to go bust some ghosts, and he goes, I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
And then they correct his
They
grammar.
look at him and go, oh, that's a double negative. That means you are afraid of ghosts. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
That's what I hate about remakes. Are we pulling this whole thing where like you're better than the original and you got to make fun of it? That's what worried me.
Oh, that is very disheartening.
Although, for you at home, has anybody heard about the Ozzy Osbourne cameo?
No.
What?
Yeah, so it got rumored a long time ago, but today the international trailer hit, and there's extra footage in it. There's nothing in it in English, but if you pause a freeze frame, there's a concert that they're busting a ghost at, and on the side of the concert stage it says Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, that's really cool. So Grimstar77, the CGI is great until it's overused.
Yeah.
Show the talent in the artist that create these amazing works. So you've already talked about the CGI, and I just want to touch on this really quick. So I did see the CGI Slimer, and at first I was like, oh, but I showed it to my students, and they actually really, really loved it. They are, they are a little bit younger, but I think that overall, I think the CGI will be kind of okay. It won't be the best. I would definitely always, if I always had the choice, I would always choose puppets. Yeah. But the bottom line, are you guys gonna go see this movie when it opens in theater?
Ghostbusters, man.
Yeah,
of course I'm gonna see this movie.
I see Salty Steve was saying something about Bill Murray should be a ghost in the movie. That was originally what he wanted,
3.
a la Han Solo wanting to die. That was his thing. So in Ghostbusters 3, he was gonna be in it, he was gonna die, and then unfortunately Harold Ramis passed. So
that was depressing.
Look, I'm with it. I wish it would be a little different. I wish that this would be just younger Ghostbusters, and the older Ghostbusters would still be acknowledged.
Kind of like
I kind of
Extreme
wish it would be
Ghostbusters.
like their daughters or something like
look,
that.
guys,
That would be kind
we're
of
just
cool.
too old for this.
My
Pass
big
the
thing I
torch.
always wanted though was I wanted Annie Potts and Sigourney Weaver to be the first female
got
Ghostbusters,
one!
and then they teach the new generation.
That would be
Annie
really
You're gonna
cool.
have an all female.
So, guys, I
Yeah,
think
she
this is
is.
all going to be a guessing game on how this one is going to turn out, or is it? Did you know that most people make up their minds about seeing a movie in the theater or at home based on the trailer? So let's think about that for a minute. In a standard 2-hour movie, a decision on if the movie is good or bad, and the nerd community certainly voices their opinion on it, is decided by seeing only 2% of the entire film. That's like deciding to buy a car based only on seeing just the headlights. Just something to think about. So now going from a movie just releasing its first trailer to a movie about to be released in theaters.
Oh, God.
I love this movie, Chris.
Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice has been slated for an R rating for the ultimate cut once the film hits video release. We all kind of speculated that once this rumor surfaced, it was due to the success of Deadpool. But Warner Brothers claims that this ultimate cut was planned way before Deadpool hit theaters. What do you guys think, Matt?
This has nothing to do with Deadpool, guys. For the reasons that Deadpool was rated R, for the reasons they're going to say they're releasing this version rated R, are two completely different versions. Deadpool had men being pegged. It had boobs. It had terrible language. It's completely
naughty
different.
language.
It had incredibly naughty language that I would never say in front of a lady. But they're two completely different reasons. One has nothing to do with the other.
All right, Freddie?
Well, sir, I'm gonna have to disagree with you
Well, sure.
because there was no way it was pre-planned. Like 3
shut
weeks,
up,
3 weeks later, it's
up,
like
Freddie.
Deadpool made so much money, and we put an R rating on that. And we got Zack Snyder, the guy who's like famous for making R-rated comic book
Look
movies.
at him. He's going
I'm just
crazy.
saying, no, because that's so stupid. Snyder has the capability for making R-rated movies. Obviously, Watchmen, 300. Look at all those.
There's a penis in Watchmen.
I know there's a lot of R-rated comic book movies you can do, but if are you really gonna sit here and tell me that Warner Brothers set out and said, greenlight this. Let's go, Zack Snyder. Let's make an R-rated movie. Not only that, let's make an R-rated movie, Batman versus wholesome Superman, called Dawn of Justice. That's going to springboard the entire Justice League franchise with an R rating. Everyone is doing it after Deadpool, and so is Warner Brothers.
You think that DC's movie universe is based on Deadpool?
Right now, their sellability of the DVD sales, which, let's be honest...
I do think that their box... I think that they are... I don't know. But looking at box office reviews...
That's so cute. You guys are teaming up on me.
They are. I do think that DC is looking a lot to Marvel for as far as box office hits go.
The biggest problem in the industry now is studios do not care.
Shut up, America.
For real though, studios do not care if the movie makes money at the box office, because to them it's one entire commercial for the DVD home video streaming sales. No. I'm not even joking, because I know so many of my friends in the industry who have worked on projects that say, well, yeah, my movie got stolen, streamed online. But like, no, it's good for DVD sales and for streaming sales.
Not in regards to movies like Batman v Superman.
That movie's going to make money either way. You're going to sell even more copies of the DVD if they think, oh, this is a hardcore R-rated cut. But come on, what else can you put in there? It's going to be Superman tearing some dude in half. I'm so mad, Bruce.
Oh, you know that.
Eating the blood. That's how he is. Not true. Eating the blood out of the corpse. That's R-rated.
All right, edgy. Matt, you got anything else?
As far as the R-rated version, geez, I'm so distracted by Superman breaking someone in half and drinking their blood. That's so realistic, Freddie. I like it.
Yeah, R-rated, man.
For me personally, back in the real world, I can't wait to see who Jenna Malone plays. We just realized that her character was cut from the theatrical version, and a lot of people had speculated who she was. Some people say Carrie Kelly. Some people said Barbara Gordon, Batgirl.
Carrie Kelly would be awesome.
Zack Snyder came out and said nothing that anyone guessed was correct. So it's still a mystery character, and apparently we will never find out who that mystery character is until we get to that R-rated version. So I'm looking forward to that.
Real quick, we've got Salty Steve. No Superman or Batman movie needs to have an R rating.
Right. I agree.
I totally agree.
I agree.
And Laughing Man, I'd imagine the movie is close to an R rating as it is. If they cut a few of the gunshots and deaths, and then I can see it hitting the R for Deadpool. And Fiber Burt says a Batman movie could be rated R, but this doesn't look like the one that should be rated R.
I agree 100% with that. Yeah.
Freddie?
Okay, so my biggest thing, like I said, it's a jumping board for the Justice League franchise, and you're going to have the first one have a DVD cut, Blu-ray cut, whatever have you, that's R-rated. Justice League is not an R-rated property. And the other problem is this movie's called Dawn of Justice. It's not just Batman versus Superman anymore. It's leading everything in there. So if you're going to do an R-rated Batman-Superman movie, you need to go full-blown Frank Miller style. You don't need all this other extra stuff in there to be Justice League. Because that's the other thing, too. The problem that a lot of people had, if you ask kids back in the day...
I mean, this is kind of themed off the Frank Miller...
It's themed off of it, but you need to have that be the full movie, not the Justice League.
That's true. That's 100% true.
That's what I'm saying. Is if you're going to go for an R rating, you need Frank
Miller. Why is the cartoon that they killed Joker in?
That's based off The Dark Knight Returns.
Okay, The Dark Knight Returns cartoon, the animated series. Now, that one deserves an R rating. And I think even the cartoon got an R rating.
PG-13.
Okay, Matt?
Why isn't the Avengers being held to the standard? Why shouldn't your precious Avengers
Our Avengers are not
They're
rated
not R-rated. They haven't come out.
I know. You're saying, like, the Justice League should be R-rated. That's
I'm saying the Justice League shouldn't be R-rated. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we're saying the Justice League nor Avengers. No, but none of them should get R rating. So The Lost Bobby, it's only going to be R-rated because of the violence, not language.
Thank you, Lost Bobby.
Most of why Deadpool was rated R.
Thank you, Lost Bobby.
I love you, Lost Bobby.
So the dude Daniel, what do you guys think about the other characters such as the Flash and Cyborg having cameos?
I think it's very downplayed. Like, you're gonna see them like for a second, like. They're telling you, like, yes, they're in this movie, but they're not telling you it's gonna be like 15 seconds. Like, first off, you're gonna see Ray Fisher as Victor Stone, but you're not gonna see Cyborg. I don't think.
It's in that dream sequence, supposedly. Everybody's
so?
in that. That's what everyone's saying.
And as far as Ezra Miller's Flash, you're just going to see, supposedly you're just going to see him on a security. Look, don't go see this for that. Go see this for Batman.
What I want to do is
Superman.
superimpose Grant Gustin on Ezra Miller the entire movie.
Finally, we're in agreement. We're finally in agreement.
The better Flash.
The real Flash.
Yeah, my Flash.
Are we talking too dark for your precious DC, Matt?
Are we talking too dark? Yeah, you sure are. Like
the
you're
one
saying,
wanted
like,
all rated R and everything.
You bringing up Frank Miller and all this stuff. Like that's not
Frank
what the
Miller's-
Justice League is. You have to understand the Avengers is like real life, gritty, New York, hardcore.
What?
And Justice League, it's like it's better than that. It's bright costumes and Camelot and it's like better than that. It's higher than that.
But that's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be rated R. I think we're agreeing here, and you don't realize it.
Okay.
I'm saying Justice League does not need to be rated R.
Whatever, Freddie.
All right, so, well, we will have to first get through the theatrical release before we can get the R-rated Ultimate Cut. So don't forget, Batman vs. Superman hits theaters on March 25th.